kind of walk through each of those three specific values as well. But I've been on YouTube since 2011. I think YouTube is such a wonderful platform to reach such a wide audience of people all over the world, people that speak different languages. And the one thing that I've really kind of learned from being on YouTube is that so many people in so many different countries have different perspectives and outlooks on how to approach different topics. I'll give you a quick example. I did a video a while ago on how to engage with someone in terms of a dating situation where you want to talk to them about asking them out on a date or expressing your feelings to them. And some of the advice I'd given in the video was based on my own advice, living in New York, living in America, kind of in this United States cultural system of, hey, if you like someone, approach them, say hello, ask them out on a date, spend one-on-one time with them. And to me, that process just seemed to kind of make sense. That's what you do. And I remember I had received a comment from someone in India who told me, hey, Josh, thank you for making your videos and thank you for the advice. But in my country, you can't really do that. You can't just go out on dates with people because it's just not the cultural norm here. And it really got me thinking, wow, everyone across the world has such different perspectives and different ways of approaching different situations. So it's incredibly important for us to be mindful in how we communicate with people of all different backgrounds, of all different beliefs, of all different cultures, all different societies in that sense as well. So one thing I really try to aim with on my YouTube channel is really kind of speaking to people on a deeper level of what it is that they are trying to accomplish or work on in their lives. When I talk about being your best self, I think a lot of times we've all heard the advice, just be yourself and everything will be fine. And it's a bit cliche, I have to say. You hear it all the time and it's something people say, but when you think about it, what does that mean to be yourself? What if you don't really know who you are or what it is that you want to do? So I really try to help people explore the concept of being their best self. Being your best self, in my perspective, is really taking the time to learn about the areas in your life that you want to grow. Maybe that's relationships in terms of finding a partner or someone you can, develop a closer friendship with. Maybe those are relationships with your parents or your siblings or your teachers or mentors. I also talk about the focus on kind of figuring out your path and your purpose in life. I think a lot of times, especially for teenagers, they're starting to enter that stage of their lives, that adolescent phase where they're becoming more independent. They're starting to figure themselves out, know what it is that they want to explore and do. They may not have it all figured out yet by college or that, in their early 20s, they may still be discovering, but they're starting to get a direction for the things that they like and the things that they don't like. So when I talk deeply about finding your path and your purpose, I always try to bring that aim back to recognizing the one important question: who in this world do you want to help? Where do you kind of see a challenge that exists that you feel you can put yourself in and help others with? So I focus on that path and the purpose point. And I think another piece that I really try to focus on is kind of learning to love yourself. This is more of the mental health component of it, right? I think a lot of us deal with issues of self-doubt, of lack of worth, lack of care from others. Maybe you come from a home, or maybe that teenager comes from a home where their parents didn't really show them the love and care that they may have needed to feel secure in their attachments in life. Or maybe they kind of grew up in an environment where they were constantly met with failure, and that repeat of failure really drilled into their mind that they're just not good enough. They're not worthy of love. They're not worthy of care. And they've come to believe that. So I really try to allow people to expand that notion that just as you are, you're lovable. I think one of my biggest influences in life has been Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers in America here. He had a children's TV show called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and it aired for about 50 or 60 years on TV. And the one thing that Fred Rogers would always talk about is that he likes you just the way you are. There's no one else in this world just like you, and that's what makes you so unique and special. And I really try to help teenagers realize this in my videos as I talk through different topics and issues, different challenges that come up in their lives. Maybe they got into an argument with a friend. Maybe there's a rumor being spread around about them in school. Maybe they're about to graduate and they don't know what to do. I always try to bring it back to the root. The root is, what does your best self look like? What is it that you want to work on? How do you want to learn and grow? And when you encounter challenges, when you encounter hardships in life, how can you reflect? And how can you say, hey, what are small steps I can take to start to understand the situation better, to start to act on it, and to start to lead my life in a way where I can feel more confident and secure in myself. So I mentioned compassion as being one of the first values that I really focus on my channel. And I think in order to develop that sense of compassion for others, you also need to start practicing it for yourself. And I think the way that we can start building compassion for ourselves, and especially to help teach teenagers to be more compassionate in their own lives, is to encourage them to kind of really be reflective and to take a step back and be patient and understanding when they interact with others. We all have such unique experiences in our lives. We all come from different backgrounds, come from different lives. Like everything we encounter is so different. And yet we're all so similar in so many ways. We all have a body, we all have a mind, and we all have the desire to be loved for who we are. So in teaching compassion to teenagers, what I always try to focus on is having them recognize, take a step back and recognize, wait a second, do I know what this person's going through? Have I done the due diligence to really kind of hear their story out, to practice that active listening and to be understanding, to think deeply about where their emotions are coming into play and how those are driving their decisions and their actions? This is something that I think is super important, because when we practice that essence of compassion towards others, it also becomes easier to practice it with ourselves. If we can stop and recognize, hey, the person I'm talking to is upset, and maybe they're saying mean things, but they're doing it because I know they're hurt, then we can look at our own behaviors and say, when I'm saying mean things, when I'm acting in a way that I don't think is nice towards others, I can acknowledge that I'm also hurt and I'm acting and coming from a place of hurt. So practicing that deeper sense of compassion really allows people to kind of get a wider perspective of the people around them, the world around them, to really act in a way where they can be more thoughtful and more mindful in how they act and how they interpret things. Another way to kind of practice that compassionate element, I believe, is to practice some type of form of meditation. I think that meditation is such a wonderful practice because it allows us to kind of really be in the present moment. Now, one thing I always kind of run into when I talk to teenagers about meditation is they think meditation is kind of sitting with your legs folded, your arms crossed, going hum all day long. And I really try to explain to them that meditation can be any form of practice where you're present minded. You can practice meditation when you are washing the dishes. Maybe as you feel the warm water hit your hands, you're listening to the sounds of the dishes clinking against each other as you're putting them down. You're feeling the rag against the dish as you're cleaning it. You're feeling that texture, the resistance, cleaning the food off, scrubbing the food off. You're in the present moment, really experiencing what you're doing. Another place that teenagers can practice meditation is going to and coming from school. Now, granted, we live in a COVID world, so things are different. Education is more remote, and there are ways to practice it there. But going to and from school could just be in the morning when I wake up. What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Am I feeling a bit of tiredness? Is my body a little achy and sore? Do I feel hungry? Do I feel sleepy? Do I feel alert and ready and awake? And as I'm riding to school, what sensations can I experience? Maybe it's early in the morning and the sun is bright, so I can kind of think about how things are being lit up around me. Maybe there's a quietness in the morning as you're traveling to school. Not many cars are out or not many people are out, so you just hear the rustling of the trees in the background. Practicing that sense of mindfulness and meditation will allow you to kind of work towards being more compassionate in that present moment. Another value I talk about is mindfulness. Compassion, mindfulness, and confidence are the three. And going deeper into that mindfulness element here, really trying to find present moment activities is going to allow you to kind of also start to develop more patience and understanding when you do run into challenges. Because let's be honest, I think in a teenager's life, there are nonstop challenges. People telling them what to do, things that are waiting on them to be done, school projects and assignments and tasks, and signing up for your driver's lessons and taking any kind of tests you have to take and exams and chores. And there's a million tasks happening all the time. And I think as mentors for us, and even for parents, even for guardians, even for anyone that plays a role in a teenager's life, we have to recognize the depth of every teenager's world. It's very easy sometimes for an older person to kind of write that off and to say, oh, I dealt with that when I was younger and I was fine. It's not that big of a deal, or that teenager's just being lazy. And I think what we're not doing is we're not practicing those initial values of recognizing that everyone has their own deep inner world. And when we can take the time to be more mindful and to recognize the deep inner world of someone, where do they run into challenges? Where do they feel overwhelmed? Where do they feel like they need to reach out for help? Am I offering that help and that guidance that they may need in that moment? So the mindfulness piece really is, the mindfulness piece really is that deeper reflection upon how we can be a better asset in people's lives, and how we can better help them really start to understand who they are, the fact that there are people around them they can reach out to, and the fact that deep down they have what it takes to be somebody great. This is something I also try to mention a lot when I speak to teenagers, that, young people, I think, are starting to come into themselves, and there may be a fear in trying new things or stepping outside of the societal norms because you might be afraid you're going to get ostracized, or people will make fun of you, or people won't understand you. But working on being somebody great really means testing yourself, pushing your limits, stepping outside of that comfort zone so you can see what you are capable of. Because what we think we're capable of is always limited by what we know. And it's not until you do things outside of what you know that you really start to see, you know what? I thought I would be nervous there. I tried it and I wasn't so nervous. Or, hey, if I do it enough times, I know I'm going to feel a lot more confident in doing it. So it's only that small step that you take every single time that allows you to step outside and be more confident there. Moving into that third point, confidence. I talk a lot about building that sense of confidence with teenagers because I feel like it's such an important value to start to instill in them as they're developing, as they're kind of challenging the world and putting themselves out there. There's a real fear that if you do something wrong, you're going to get scolded or yelled at, or you're not good enough, or you're bad for trying something. And I think that what we should be doing is encouraging teenagers to put themselves out there, to make mistakes, to recognize the mistakes and failure don't mean that you should quit. They're not reasons to quit, but they are reasons to reflect and try again. And trying again, maybe doing something differently, maybe tweaking something small, or maybe reaching out to someone else who's done that thing before to get their advice and to see how you can grow. And, building confidence is not something that we are born with. It is shaped through our experiences, through our nurturing, through the people in our lives. So for some, they may have kind of lived a life up into their teenage years where they didn't really have that encouragement from those around them. This is something I see a lot. I see a lot of people, especially in, I think, the dating realm of life, teenagers are starting to want to explore romantic relationships. And if they run into resistance, if they run into failure, if they get rejected, they just start to create reasons for themselves as to what those limiting factors are. I'm too ugly. I'm not popular enough. I'm not cool enough. I'm dumb. I'm not good enough. There's a multitude of reasons that come in to explain the why. And there isn't enough encouragement to kind of really explore each of those situations to see, well, what could you have done differently? How did the other person respond? What do we know about their response? What do you want to try the next time around? Really kind of encouraging this critical thinking aspect to problem solving. And I think that building that sense of confidence comes from trying and failing and learning, over and over again. So confidence, mindfulness, and compassion are those three key values that I really, really focus on teaching and helping young people kind of learn and institute in their lives, because I feel like they play such a huge role in helping them work towards be their best selves. Another thing I really try to encourage in young people is fostering a sense of community with one another. So I'll mention in here that one thing I've been trying to do for myself is, as a mentor, I feel like I'm one person giving advice, and me sharing my perspective is great. They're hearing from someone maybe who has had my own challenges, my own struggles, and I'm kind of sharing my wisdom, I guess, on how I work through them, how I learned from those experiences. But building a community for teenagers to also interact with each other, I think, is a wonderful experience, because as a mentor, you have only encountered so many types of situations in your life, right? People ask me questions or they come to me with ideas that are things that I don't have direct, like knowledge of. I never encountered it or I never experienced it. But by having teens kind of connect in a community, and one place that I've been doing that is I've been using Discord as a way to kind of group people in, and it's a community. Grouping teenagers in under a community allows them to now speak to people on their same wavelength, people that are just like them, trying to figure things out in this world, trying to figure out who they are, and to know that they're not alone in that experience, because it's very easy to feel alone when you're trying to discover who you are. It's very easy. It's easy to fall into no one understands me, no one gets me, I don't even get me. So why should I even try? Why do I matter? It's very easy to fall into that mindset. But by fostering a community that's built around positive values, around helping each other, around listening to each other, around just creating a space for people to share their thoughts and to know that there's no judgment attached to that. So create that space where teenagers can share that with one another, I think is one of the best things that we can do. Because as a mentor, you can kind of take a step back and allow everyone to kind of engage in their own way. And then when it's necessary for you to step in and offer advice or to direct, that's the power that you have. One thing that I also learned from Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is that the space between the screen and the speaker is holy ground. This space, because the viewer's eyes see the screen, and that space that exists allows you to translate such a powerful message. We have such a gift and such an ability to really inspire and teach so many people along the way, that we'd be fools to take that for granted and to not use that in a positive way. I mentioned that I speak on YouTube and I make videos on YouTube, and I've been branching out to other social media platforms. I've also written a book called Embracing the Awkward, which is a guide for teens to succeed at school and relationships. And with that book, I kind of pull in a lot of the different ideas I talk about on my YouTube channel into it, because I know that people learn in a multitude of ways. Some people prefer video communication. Some people prefer audio communication. Some people prefer sitting back, escaping the world, and diving into a book and reading. And I think it's important for us as speakers and for teenagers as well to think deeply about what kind of communication styles work best for you to receive, to understand, and to act on information. Because if we just kind of consume, but we don't think deeply about how can we act on that information, well, then we are just kind of letting it go in one ear and out the other. So I think it's important for us as speakers to think about the different mediums that we choose, to ask ourselves, where are our audience? Where do they communicate? Where are they talking to each other? Where are they learning new things? And ask ourselves how we can be in those platforms, how we can put ourselves out there in a way that they can kind of say, hey, this is a person I can learn from. This is a person that I feel gets it. YouTube as a platform, one of the reasons why I chose YouTube as one of my main platforms to communicate was because when I first started on YouTube, I didn't really see a lot of people on there speaking directly to teens that were addressing kind of the challenges that they faced, right? One of the first videos that I did early on in my channel back in like 2012 or 13, I think it was, a person had asked me about getting rejected by someone that they liked. And when I looked on YouTube, there were some kind of general videos there. One kind of talked about the fact that, hey, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel bummed out about that. You're not wrong for feeling that. You should not just ignore those feelings. Every feeling we have is an indication of what's going on inside. And instead of ignoring any of those feelings, what we really need to do is go deeper into them. Ask ourselves, why am I feeling that way? And what am I doing with that feeling? Am I hurt and I'm carrying out that hurt in hurting other people? Am I mad and I'm using that to fight and be violent? If we think deeply about our feelings and we really try to understand what the cause is, what the root of our feeling is, it allows us to dive a little bit deeper and be more thoughtful in our actions. So that's something I really, really wanted to jump in and create and provide there on YouTube, which I didn't see existing. And over the years, of course, more people have popped up. YouTube is a pretty big space, But what I've always tried to remain consistent on in there is creating a space where people can be vulnerable, people can be honest, they can be their honest selves, and they can ask questions and share thoughts that matter to them without the sense of judgment or worry that people will look at them as if they're doing something wrong. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on as a speaker in reaching out to teens. My YouTube channel has well over 200,000 subscribers at this point. My book has sold well over 4,000 copies. My Discord community is on its way up to 1,000 members. I'm really trying to grow these platforms and grow these opportunities for teenagers to kind of see that it's okay to be who they are. You know, it's not a matter of just being yourself. It's a matter of working towards being your best self, thinking about what you want to accomplish in this world, who you want to be, and what does it look like to love yourself as you are right now. Those are the most important things I've kind of learned in being a speaker. That's what I wanted to kind of go over with you here. I think that for any speakers and any whether you're a coach, whether you're a speaker, whether you're a teacher, an influencer of any kind in a young child's life, in a teenager's life, recognizing that offering space to that person to be their honest, vulnerable self is the best thing that you can do. Because while it's important to hear positive information or to get motivated by someone, it's also important to reflect on the inner being of who we are. And I think that that's the greatest gift we can offer someone else, is to give them the space to share their inner being with us so that we can help them better understand it and we can guide them in the right way so they can work on just kind of honestly being their best self. And with that, I'll turn it back here. Yeah, and if there are any questions that come in, or we can turn it back here to the back to the hosting part. But I hope that's valuable information for you guys, and I hope that what I shared, something kind of resonated with you. You can act on it as well.
Awesome. Thanks for the value being shared. I think I was wondering, were you speaking to us, the coaches, or the teenagers? Because we're gleaning more from your knowledge than even teenagers, from my own view. But that's very, very important. Very, very important. One of the things I learned here today is smart teens, wherever you are, join smart communities. I remember when I created the Smart Teens global community on Facebook. It was first called Smart Teens Home, and then looked like a strange thing. Like it was so strange. It was crawling in growth, and I was wondering myself, are you sure I want to continue this? So when you said you had about 1,000 members, then I had confidence that if my members are above 600, then that means I've been trying. So yeah, but that's
growing the community is, people think like it's very easy, and it's not. It's like it's one thing to grow a large community, but what you really want to build is an engaged community. You know, so even if your numbers are smaller, if people are interacting with each other, if you see people taking that step to help each other, that matters so much more.
Awesome. So that's very straightforward. That's very straightforward. I can't see questions yet in the comment sections, so I would let the mentors deal with the questions that come forward in the as time goes on. Yeah. So you can find Joshua on YouTube at Josh Speaks. Admin, please help me put that in the banner section at Josh Speaks. And you can also find him on Instagram, same name on Instagram. Can I ask, what's the name on Discord?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to thejoshspeaks.com/Discord, it'll take you to my server. It's free and open. Like I said, we're working towards 1,000 members there that are teenagers of all ages too, which I think is amazing, because what I really start to see is that the older teens and the older, young adults, people that are in college, are willing to help the younger ones, right? If a 14 or 15-year-old comes in and they're struggling with something, someone that's in their, the 19, 20 years old will jump in and really try to help that younger person. So I think it's amazing to kind of foster a teen community where teens can feel empowered to also want to help each other.
Amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so much for the value. I know you're rushing out for another meeting, so we appreciate you for coming on this session. Thank you so much
No
for
problem.
coming on this session.
No problem. I'm happy to be here, and I really enjoy this. I'm happy we can chat and stuff. And like I said, for anyone that is watching, join the Smart Teens global community as well. You know, be active on here. I think what you're putting together is such an amazing thing, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So all the questions will be sent via mail if they are special to you later on, and I believe the value will be shared. Thank you so much for coming on the Smart Teens Global Summit. We celebrate you and we'll see you on the backside. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Love and peace.
All right. It's been an amazing session all the way from the United States on the Smart Teens Global Summit. I know you all got value at this session. I wish you the best of the sessions. Upcoming next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll be having Adejumoke Omobayo from Nigeria to share with you on mentoring and developing yourself. So ensure that you get your pens and get ready. If you have not joined the Judge Speaks Discord community, look at the link on the banner, thejudgespeaks.com/Discord. Ensure that you join his community and make yourself the better self. As I said earlier on, smart communities where they share positive values and positive vibes, and you can easily communicate with people. Lastly, I want to acknowledge that on Friday, just as Judge said, there will be a round table of super smart teenagers from all the different continents in the world, and they will be sharing their stories. Don't miss it for anything. That will be so amazing. We have Zandra from the US. We have Sarah Goody from the US. We have amazing people, Uke Enon, Joshua Irute, and amazing others from all different continents. So don't miss it. I wish you the best, and I will see you in the next section. My name is Joshua Oshowo, and I'm happy to be your host. God bless you. Music.
Inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, no, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. Up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire, getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made. destiny. Back in the days we wanted everything.